We have here a 2009 Volkswagen Eos, and it has the 2-liter TSI engine with the letter code CCT, and the customer's complaint is that it has engine misfires. This is actually one of the car lots from down the street, and they had some engine misfires on it, and they replaced the crankcase vent valve, and that seemed to solve the problem or help the problem, and then they sold the car and it's now back. The misfires are only there cold only, and right now I've already test driven the car. I did see the misfires happening on the misfire monitors, but the car's warmed up now, so we're not going to be able to see that, but we'll do an auto scan and see what's going on with it. Here's our auto scan. We have 7 faults, a 300 random misfire, 304 cylinder 4 misfire, idle control RPM lower than expected. A lot of times that happens when there's a vacuum leak. Cylinder disable. Obviously the misfire got bad enough where they wanted to disable one of the cylinders. Cylinder 303, misfire on number 3. Fuel level too low. Probably don't relate to our diagnosis here. Fuel pressure sensor. Not sure about that either. I don't know if it relates or not. So obviously we have some misfires. We have a potential lean condition. We'll take a quick look at our fuel trims. So here's our fuel trim. It is definitely running lean. It's at the max 25. We've spent some time trying to find a vacuum leak up here. There really is no vacuum leak up here. I wanted to point out that this has been replaced. It does have a Volkswagen emblem on it, and our fuel trims are high. Okay, I have, to eliminate this system as part of the diagnosis, I have Cortland. He's going to plug that hole with his thumb, and we are going to run it without the crankcase vent hooked up and see what our fuel trims run. So plug it off there, Cortland. Then it'll take a while for the oxygen sensor to go active. I might rev it a little bit. And it went active. And notice that the fuel trims are pretty normal. It went high there for just a second, but with that the crankcase eliminated from the circuit, the fuel trims are fairly normal, going negative and positive. Okay, we're under this CC now, and you can see here that the rear main has been leaking some. There is some moisture here. Hard to get the light just right, but there is some moisture coming from the area between the engine and the transmission, indicating the rear main seal is leaking. That is a slight confirmation of the problem. I have hooked up VAGCOM down underneath here, and you see our fuel trim there is at, in group 33, is at 25. And I have my can of starting fluid here with a straw on it, and I'm going to spray it up here. There ain't much of an area to get in there except for right in there. Right that area right in there. And I'm going to soak it down and watch what the fuel trims do. I'm going to leave the camera on the computer as I do that. You might have heard a change in tone of the motor, but that took it all the way to negative 25, and I've stopped spraying now. And then it goes back up as soon as the fuel is used up. And I'm going to spray it one more time. There it goes back to negative 25. Got this transmission out. Taking a look at the rear main here, and you see obvious traces of it leaking. After we get it off, I'll see if we can see any splits in the lip seal or not. We got this off, and obviously the lip is detached. Makes a huge vacuum leak. We've completed the engine rear main seal installation and reinstalled the transmission, and now we're going to start it up and check our fuel trims. What I'm seeing is this is compensating for the adaptation at idle. Since we have a nice sealed up vacuum circuit now, it's going into the negative to compensate for the the long term. It's going awfully far into the negative though. But at least it's not maxed out at negative or at positive 25 like it was before. Hopefully after this runs for a while it'll balance out and cycle between negative and positive. Maybe it might take a test drive to get it to do that. I'm going to go ahead and clear codes, and that should reset this, and maybe that'll make it be right where it's supposed to be. I realize there's no codes there, but clearing codes still resets fuel trim, so and as you can see, our fuel trim is now at 0. This is much more positive than it was. Hopefully after it runs a while it'll balance out to about 0. But what we do have now is fuel trims that are very close to 0, cycling back and forth from negative to positive. So I think that's a good fix. FYI, we did not replace the evap. We did not replace the crankcase vent valve. The previous shop had already done that. It is a Volkswagen part number. It does have a Volkswagen emblem on it, so I'm assuming it's a good one. And when that fails, that will rip that lip seal out like what I showed you. We'll do a test drive and then we'll go from there. I've just finished up with the road test on the Eos. And as you can see, we have no misfire counts on there, and the short-term fuel trim is going back and forth from negative to positive, so I think we can call that a good fix. Just wanted to wait until it showed actual negative and positive. I think the sun was blocking it out there for a second. This Eos wasn't a difficult diagnosis. It was simply a lean condition that you could see with the trouble codes and with misfires and with the fuel trims. But the unusual part of it is that you have to remove the transmission to fix it. What a terrible design. It's just simply, it's a bad design seal that's connected to an engine with a bad design crankcase vent valve. You know, when that crankcase vent valve fails and it pressurizes or it puts vacuum in there, it just rips that seal out. really think they should do something different. Maybe somebody in the aftermarket can design a seal that doesn't rip apart so easy. Plus, somebody needs to tool up and make a crankcase vent valve that doesn't use a diaphragm. What's wrong with the old PVC valves that used to be on engines? They were reliable. Maybe not on Volkswagens. The 1.8T seemed to have a problem with them, but certainly on Chevys and Chryslers and stuff, the old PCV valves worked good and lasted a long time. If you learned anything from this video, click like and subscribe, and visit my website. And if you're of a mind to, on my website you can click the donate button to support continuing making these videos. And my website's right here at kansascitytdi.com.